everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a continuation of my top 10 series, but this time I'm going to switch over to makeup. I did a top 10 series featuring my favorite nail polishes from my favorite brands, but I decided to do a makeup version of this. So I'm going to go through and give you guys my 10 favorite products in different makeup categories. So highlighters, blushes, eyeshadows, palettes. If you guys have a specific category you want to see earlier than the others, just leave it down below in the comment section. I'll make sure I'll film that video sooner rather than later. So let's go ahead and get started. These are my favorite highlighters and I'm going to go in no particular order. I'm going to try and show you guys swatches of these, and then there's a mix of both high-end and drugstore. I didn't include like any limited edition highlighters in here. There is one that's like a limited edition packaging, but I believe it's still available. But all of the products that I mentioned today should be pretty attainable. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with one of my newer favorites. This is from Milani. This is actually a baked powder blush in the shade Rosa Romantica. I had purchased this product off of the Milani website, but as soon as I swatched this, I knew that this was going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous highlighter. So it's this really kind of soft, rosy highlight. I'm sure it can be worn as a blush topper, but for me, this is a stunning, stunning highlighter. I know for a lot of people who have like very light skin tones to fair skin tones will not be able to use this as a highlighter because it does have a little bit of like a peachy pinky undertone, but it is absolutely stunning. This is one of my favorite highlighters to wear when I am a little bit more tanned, and I haven't heard that many people talk about it because I think a lot of people would use this as a blush topper. The next highlighter is probably in my like top 5. I can't really put a number 1 on anything, and especially this one because it's so expensive. This is from Lancome and it's one of their dual finish highlighters. This is the only one I have. I do want to pick up one more shade, but like I said, these are very expensive. This one is in the shade 05 Sparkling Peche. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it is the peachy shade. This highlighter is absolutely stunning. I actually watched somebody swatch this. I was watching some type of like makeup collection and declutter, and I watched somebody swatch this and I immediately ran out and added it to my favorites and added it to my cart. So I knew that I wanted to pick up this highlighter, but it is such a beautiful peachy highlight. Again, this may not work for everyone. It works really nicely for me. I prefer like golden highlighters, and I love peachy highlights because I think that they're kind of unique. I don't see that many companies come out with like a peachy highlight. So absolutely love this. I love the formula of it. As you can see, it kind of gives the skin this very beautiful wet look. It is a pretty intense highlight, so if you don't like a super intense highlight, this may not be the one for you. This is kind of like a baked gelée formulation. The next one on my top 10 list, this is from Makeup Revolution. This is the Shimmer Brick in Radiant. Of course, this is supposed to be a dupe for like the Bobbi Brown Shimmer Bricks, and I prefer this over the Bobbi Brown Shimmer Bricks. The Bobbi Brown Shimmer Bricks are just very chunky, very glittery, and this just has a much smoother and like softer formulation. There's no chunks of glitter in here. It just gives you a really, really nice sheen. I just prefer this, like I said, over the Bobbi Brown Shimmer Bricks. So I think these are definitely worth it. It is inexpensive. I do want to pick up the one that has a couple of like pinky shades. I don't wear pinky highlighters that often, but I would still like to pick up the pinky version of this because I think it would be nice to have as an option for, you know, an inexpensive pinky highlight. So then the next highlighter I want to share with you guys, I feel like a lot of people don't actually like this highlighter. This is the Ciate London. They might be like the Glow 2 highlighters or something like that, but this one is in the shade Starburst, so this is the more golden version. I also own the pinky version of this, and like I said, a lot of people actually don't like these highlighters because they say that they're very glittery and it's very chunky, and that may be so when you first swatch this highlighter. It kind of has like a baked gelée formulation. It's somewhere in between like a powder and a baked gelée formula. But when you first swatch this, this does have a little bit of like a chunky and glittery appearance. But when you use a brush and you blend this into your skin, it kind of melts those like chunky or glittery particles into your skin, and it just leaves a really nice sheen. I feel like a lot of people were intimidated by this when they first looked at the product in the pan, and again when they first swatched it, but once you put it on your skin, doesn't leave any chunky glitter behind. It just leaves this, like I said, gorgeous sheen. I feel like a lot of people pass on these highlighters, and I think they are definitely worth picking up. They are one of my favorite highlighters. Another highlighter that I think is very underrated, and there are multiple shades of these are the Sephora Golden Hour highlighters. Now, I prefer these to a lot of high-end highlighters. I actually included this versus a couple of other high-end highlighters in this video. This is in the shade 02 Dawn. This is kind of like a golden peachy color. Like I said, I have a thing for peachy highlights. This is not as intense as a lot of highlighters. It's definitely not a subtle highlighter, but it's not as intense as some of the highlighters I'm showing you guys today. But I think it would make a really nice kind of everyday highlight. I feel like you can kind of sheer it out. In the pan, I think this can be a little bit intimidating. As you can see, it's definitely not that intense. I think this is a gorgeous highlight. It's relatively inexpensive. I haven't heard that many people talking about these highlighters, and I don't know why. I think it's such a gorgeous highlighter. So then I have a drugstore highlighter here for you guys, and this is actually my all-time favorite subtle highlight. So this is the most subtle out of all of the highlighters I'm going to show you guys today. This is the Essence Pure Nude Highlight. I'm sure you guys have heard so many people talking about this because Kathleen Lights raves about this, and several other YouTubers rave about this. It has a little bit of like a kind of silvery pinky undertone to it. You'd think it would be a little bit more golden, but I always feel that this pulls a little bit more like cool toned on my skin. It gives a very like natural glow to the skin. Some people use this as an all over setting powder, but I don't like to because I have relatively oily skin, and I just kind of likes my cheeks to be illuminated and not the rest of my face. So absolutely love that one. I think it's definitely worth it. It's like under $5, and I think they've actually come out with a few other shades. So then I want to talk about this one. Of course, I had to include this in my top 10 because this is an absolutely gorgeous highlighter. Beautiful highlighter for brides. Every time I want to go to like a wedding, or when I did my sister's makeup for her wedding, this is the highlight that I use on her and her bridesmaids. This is the Lou Manizer from The Balm. It's just a classic highlighter. It's this gorgeous like light champagne color. This is definitely my go-to highlighter. If I don't know what to wear, I don't know what to put on, or I'm kind of feeling indecisive, this is my go-to highlighter. It never fails me. It always looks gorgeous. You can really intensify this highlight and make it, you know, blinding and reflective. You can also kind of sheer it out so it gives a very nice and natural glow. Love it. Absolutely love it. Of course, I had to include this in my top 10. The next highlight is actually a newer discovery. I've only been wearing this highlighter for, I'd say, about a month, no more than 2 months. I actually showcased this during my weekly makeup basket, and this is from Pixie. This is the Glowy Gossamer Duo, and this is in the shade Delicate Dew. I contemplated about showing this in this video because I wanted to keep it as singles, but I kind of consider this a single because I normally wear the two shades together. So there are two shades in here. One is a little bit pinkier, one is a little bit more golden. Like I said, I normally wear these two together, and this is that baked gelée formula, but it is absolutely stunning. This has a very similar formulation to the Lancome highlighter, where it gives your skin kind of that wet look, but I'm just so in love with this highlighter, and the fact that you get, like I said, two colors. These are the two colors swatched out here, and this bottom one is it all kind of mixed together. I hope it's not limited edition. I actually have seen it in store several times. You can also purchase it off of the Target website. Definitely one of my top favorite highlighters. So then the next one is one that, like I said, is in limited edition packaging. I've still seen it for sale, and knowing this company, they're probably going to bring this highlighter back, but I had to mention Becca highlighters, and I'm actually going to do an entire like collection with swatches for all my Becca highlighters eventually. I wanted to show you guys all of the different Becca highlighters that I have, kind of give you guys swatches and comparison between all the different shades, because they are one of my all-time favorite highlighter formulations. But this one is my favorite out of all of the highlighters. This is Dreamsicle. I do not know if this highlighter is still available, if they bring it back, if it's still going to be in this packaging. I love the white packaging, by the way, but this is a golden peach highlighter. Like I've said several times, I love peach highlighters, but this is such a unique peach highlighter. I don't own anything quite like this in my collection. It's so different from the Lancome one. It's so different in comparison to the Sephora one. It is just a beautiful, like orangey peachy highlighter that still looks beautiful, beautiful on your skin. Alrighty, so then let's talk about the last highlighter in this top 10 series. I'm trying not to blind you guys with this packaging, but this is the Dior Skin Nude Air Luminizers. These were limited edition a while back. I didn't pick them up when they first released this, and these now are permanent, and they have several shades. I have two of them, the more golden one, which is this one, 001, and I believe the other one has a little bit more of like a pinky tone to it, but I had to include it just because I love this kind of baked gelée formula. And I do think these higher end, like the Lancome one and this Dior one, are worth it. I've swatched the Burberry one and I'm not really interested in picking that one up. I've swatched the Chanel ones, and like I said, I don't really find the need to pick those up, but these were just so beautiful and unlike any formula, any of the other powder highlighters that I had in my collection until I picked up this Pixie one. I think the Pixie one is definitely giving these guys, you know, a run for their money, but I still wanted to mention it because it is one of my favorite highlighters. I feel very fancy when I put this highlighter on. Basically, I think these are worth, you know, the money. I think those are worth the high-end price tags. That's it. Those are my favorite highlighters, my top 10 highlighters. Like, if you guys have seen my recent highlighter collection and declutter, you guys know that I love highlighters. So I had a lot to choose from, but actually making this video wasn't that hard because these really are my go-to highlighters. I didn't really hesitate. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I currently post 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then on Sunday or every other Sunday I like to do a weekly makeup basket. So hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.